Hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am Bekah Jo, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Today, I just had the need to play with my makeup. I just needed to play. I could see like in my head that I needed to play, but I didn't know what I wanted it to be. I recently watched a video by Alexa Chan where she did an ethereal, grungy, whimsical fairy combination makeup look. And her look was focused on browns and it turned out so pretty. I wanted to do like the same concept, but I wanted to play with colorful makeup and colorful eyeshadow, colorful highlighter. I am obsessed with the way that this look came together and I can't wait to share it with you. After I did this look, I realized that this shirt matches like the theme so well. So I changed into this shirt, but you're about to see earlier Bekah Jo with no makeup and a very different colored shirt on. So thank you so much for tuning into today's video and let's get into it. Bare face, I have just a little bit of Sydney Grace lip topper on my lips, but let's get into this whimsical grungy fairy look. I want to start by adding a little glow to the skin. This is MAC Strobe Cream in the shade Pink Light. This is a tiny little sample size that I got quite a long time ago and I still have never used it up in its entirety. So I have a lot, like significantly too much. We're just gonna start by putting that on the skin to add some glow. While I give that a minute to sink in, I want to use my Bobbi Brown under eye corrector. This is the shade Light Bisque, and we're going to use this under the eyes. And because I feel like going a little glam, a little full coverage, I'm going to take my Clinique Beyond Perfecting foundation. This is the shade WN1 Flax. This is a little bit light on me, I think. I don't know, let's see how it works today. Oh, that actually looks like it's gonna be a good match. If you're not new here, you know that I generally really like Clinique foundations, especially, of course, the ones that I've tried. I have not tried all of the foundations in their lineup. This one is definitely not, it's got some qualities about it that are not my favorite, especially for the everyday, but for like a glam full coverage look, it fits the bill. I wore this, I believe this is the foundation I wore when I was in a stage production, a play a couple years ago, and it worked great for that full coverage being on stage type of makeup. I'm blending this out with a damp sponge. It's not like the dampest of damp sponges, but I dampened it this morning and now it's evening. You know when you have those pimples or acne that's like deep under the skin and hurts? Like you move your face and it hurts? I have a couple of those right now. Although this Clinique foundation does claim to also be a concealer, I want to use something a little bit different for my concealer. This is the Kosas, whatever the name of the concealer is. This is the shade 01N. And I'm going to use this under my eyes. So I have been trying out this concealer and I must say, like, I don't have anything to say negatively about it at this point, but I also don't feel overwhelmed in love with it. I don't know what it is about it that I would want it to change. Or maybe I just haven't like used it enough to really be blown out of the park by it, you know? Sometimes you have to use a product a lot and you're like, I don't know if I get it. And then you go to something else and you're like, nope, I miss it. There was something really good about that. So maybe that's that type of concealer for me. Let me know if you have tried the Kosas concealer, what you think about it. I know it's not new. I definitely do not keep up with the newest of new mainstream purchases around here. I just like to try things on my own time. And I really just want to care about the things that I care about and not the things that the makeup brands are putting out, if that makes sense. Like they didn't consult me on what product they want to make next. So I shouldn't feel under any obligation to purchase that. Just kind of how I feel about it, how I think about it, but no shame if you like to keep up with that kind of stuff. I get it, it's fun, it's exciting, no shame. Okay, that foundation is tacky, remains tacky. So let's set it. Let's use my RCMA No Color Powder. I think for me, part of the trick to this powder, which I like this powder, part of the trick to it, I think, is I need more. I think maybe I tend to not use enough, and maybe this is like a super fine silky powder, so maybe I just need to like go all in when I use it, you know? More like that. Tell me how you feel about setting your face with powder. Like, it's not like I hate it, and I do it most days. I go through phases, but lately I powder my whole face most days. What I can't stand is what I'm doing right now, and that is tapping the powder onto every square inch of my face. Maybe I need a larger sponge. This feels so inefficient. And I mean, not that makeup needs to be efficient. I enjoy playing with makeup and just taking my time with it. So it's not that, it's just like, maybe it's boring to me. Maybe I'm high maintenance in that. That's fine. Now that I set my whole face with the little powder puff, I'm also going to set it with this large Sydney Grace brush, just because, like I said, this is a very fine powder and it's a very tacky foundation. So doubling up on the powder situation today. I want to take my Sydney Grace Blonde Eyebrow Pomade, I don't know why I said that weird, and use this for my brows today. I don't know if you can see, but the product has started to like pull away from the edges of the glass jar. This is over a year old. I don't know what the expiration is. I'm sure it's likely past an expiration date. So don't like take this as blank encouragement to use your makeup products past their expiration date. This is what I am doing. I want to take a little bit of Inglot Duraline, and I mean, like, I'm gonna tap my brush onto the little dispenser guy here and then tap it into the pomade to see if it loosens up the product anymore. I don't mind that this product is a bit dry now because I am not one to do super structured brows. So with it being a little bit drier, it kind of keeps me from going too heavy-handed, and I'm okay with that, totally okay with that. But I want to play with makeup today, and I have been wondering if this makes a difference, and it definitely does. That also definitely looks dark compared to my natural brow that we haven't touched yet, but whatever. We're just gonna have strong brows for this look. Okay, I like the way that this brow turned out. Not that this one's bad, but the Duraline that I had added to the product was even more dried out when I got back to it, which just reassures to me that I like the drier product. Not totally dry, so I may continue like mixing that in, but using a little bit less, or mixing more of the liquid with, no, mixing the same amount of liquid with more of the pomade to create like the right texture, the right mixture that I'm looking for. I'm gonna see if there's anything left in my half-caked brow gel. I haven't used this in a while. Oh yeah, there's still some product in there. Nothing wrong with this product. I do like it, but I got one from Sydney Grace. Got their brow gel and just haven't touched this one since then. Just gonna brush that through a bit. Okay, I think after adding that brow gel and then like brushing through it all with the spoolie, it helped to soften the color a little bit more. So I like where we're at with the brow situation. I'm going to add some About Face eyeshadow primer, and I have not forgotten bronzer and blush. I think I just want to get going on the eyeshadow and then we'll go back to bronzer and blush. So the inspiration for this video, this makeup theme, came from a recent video of Alexa Chan's. I'll have hers linked in the description below. She was recommended by one of her subscribers to do a whimsical fairy grunge kind of look. So combining both the like ethereal, the light of whimsical fairy, and then the grunge with the deeper tones. The request from her subscriber was specifically for brown tones, and Alexa's video, her look turned out really pretty. I really want to play with colorful shadows, so I'm going to take like the same concepts but go for colorful ethereal grunge. That's my plan. Of course, you have seen the intro, so you know kind of how things turn out. I am making this up as I go. My eyes are just a little bit watery. I feel like I say that every time I come on camera. It is allergy season in my world right now. Plus, I wore makeup today and washed it off to do this video, so that just tends to make everything a little bit more irritated. Not that anything feels irritated right now, just more sensitive. Like it just brings the tear ducts closer to the front, if you will. So I definitely am considering Ensley Rain Cosmic Dreamer for some of these mattes. Like this shade, Wild Hearted, is like really calling to me lately. Something about this deep teal is really exciting to me. So we may dip into that. Of course, it also is the season for the Ensley Rain Harvest Moon palette, and these mattes are perfect. This is actually the palette that I wore on my eyes to the office today. I wore these shades and this one, and it turned out really pretty. Hopefully that'll be up in a YouTube short, if probably already up before this video goes up. But the tones in here I think definitely can give us that whimsical but grungy. I own other eyeshadows than Ensley Rain too. I just really like Ensley Rain. I really like their palettes, and I've just been loving playing with their palettes, their color stories, their formulas, all of that. If you're not new here, you know this. I have a whole Ensley Rain playlist. I love them. I love them. It's true, I do. Ensley Rain Groovy Garden, and now that I hold this one up like with my shirt, this palette is so great for everyday subtle looks or for like the playful looks. I also love my Flutter palette and my Flourish palette. Ugh, those are so good. Especially some of the like topper shades in here. So that may be like the shimmer toppers. That may be where these come in to play with this look today. And of course, I have the Ensley Rain Underland palette. This one would be so perfect. Like if I wanted to only use this palette for this look, we've got grungy mattes, and then these, I don't know why I was using 3 fingers, these 2 shimmer shades here would provide that like ethereal look. So this is also on the docket for being used for this look. And suddenly I have my inspiration. Okay, I'm going to start with Wild Hearted from the Cosmic Dreamer palette, and I want to do like a spotlight eye, so I'm going to put Wild Hearted on the inner and outer portions of my lid. I'm going to use this angled Sydney Grace eyeshadow brush. This is the E05. I use this in almost every eyeshadow look that I do, and I got a second one in their mystery bags this summer, so happy about that. So I'm dipping into Wild Hearted here. We're off to such a great start already. Like I haven't even blended this. That color, so pretty. Such a pretty color. I want to do some blending through the crease, but not like blowing it out too much. This is a Sierra Martin 3D8 brush, so I'm going to use this just to soften the edges of this shade without, like I said, blowing it out too much. I do want to take a smaller brush to do the inner portion of my eye. This is an E18 or E13 from Sydney Grace. It's just like a small, more precise blending brush, if you will. Okay, next I want to dip into the Underland palette. This is a Refer 13, and I want to take the shade Hallucination, and I'm pretty much going to use that to blend out. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. She's trying to get the fly that's in the room. I'm going to use that to like blend out the teal shade. I have not actually used this shade from this palette yet, I don't think, and it is such a pretty shade. My eye is still watery, so I'm avoiding putting any shadow like too close down here just yet. We will do something with that before all is said and done. And as per usual, if it doesn't cooperate for whatever reason, oh well, we are gonna have fun anyway. Those shades are blending in together so nicely. Now I want to dip into the Flutter palette and pick up the shade Serenity and use that just to further blend out the blue-green teal situation on the lids. You probably won't be able to see that too much, but that's okay because we know it's there and that's what matters. Okay, that gradient is so cool. I'm really happy, really excited with the direction that we're going. Now I want to dip into the Underland palette and grab the shade Jabberwocky and use that on the inner and outer portion and still leave the like center of the spotlight unaffected. We're not touching it yet. This shade is so pretty. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, that it looks kind of like purple or red in the direct light, but it also, like when I'm seeing it right now, it looks more teal. It's got such a pretty shift. I have not laid down a glitter base of any kind. I am taking a Refer 28. I'm going to use this to not really like clean up the shape, but to make sure I've got the edges of that shadow where I want it. Okay, now that we've got all this grungy and depth and some colorful on the eyes, I want to dip into what is probably one of my favorite shades in my collection. Period. And that is the shade Garden Glow from the Ensley Rain Flourish palette. This shade is smooth to the touch, and look at the impact that shade has. This shade gets me so excited. Okay, I'm going to use this on the center of my eye and build it up to its full opacity. I'm taking this shade all the way up to my brow bone here, up into my crease. I have a feeling before I'm done, it's going to be kind of like in my eyebrow and everything too. Yes, like that. Just like that. I'm just like softening the edges between those shimmers, no additional product. Not that it really needs to be softened, like I think it being harsh kind of has a vibe to it too, you know? Just adding more of that shade right down the middle. Tapping over the whole thing again. With this little bitty blending brush from Give Me Glow, I'm gonna dip into the shade Milky Way from the Cosmic Dreamer palette and use this on the inner corner. I don't want it to like compete with the spotlight eye. I just wanna like bring a little bit of brightness to the inner corner. That's nice, that's subtle. I don't know that you'll be able to see it too super well on camera. I think once I get the lower lash line shades on there, it'll like stand out just a little bit more, but that looks nice. Okay, I'm ready to do some blush and bronzer. Here's a product I haven't used in a while. This is Rare Beauty Happy Soul. I'm going to use this Sydney Grace F06 face brush to pick up, and I'm gonna be a little bit generous with this, even on my brush. Pick this up and add this as my bronzer. I know people rave about this Rare Beauty bronzer, and I don't like dislike it, but it doesn't, I don't know what about it just like doesn't quite hit the mark for me. Maybe it's the shade. I'm using a lot, so it's like more dramatic than I would go for, you know, on the day-to-day. But so maybe if I like had a lighter shade, I would feel differently. I think when I bought this, because I know when they originally came out with the line, there were fewer shades and they've expanded the shade range. And I think I might have gotten this before they expanded the shade range. So maybe the expanded shades, I do believe there's a lighter shade in there. So maybe that would make a difference for me. I don't know. The Sephora sale is coming up, so everybody is talking through their favorites on things. And I don't know that I've heard anybody mention this one recently, but it's just a favorite, it seems. We are bronzy, but that's okay. One thing that I did pick up recently was this liquid blush duo from Beauty Concepts. I picked this up from TJ Maxx, and it was $6 for 2 blushes. These are the 2 blushes. We've got the shades Rose and Peony, and I thought 2 blushes for $6, such a good deal. And there's always, I don't know what it is, but like when you can get your hands on it same day as opposed to ordering something online and waiting for it, there's just an extra level of excitement. So anyway, I picked these up. I have tried this shade a couple times now, and maybe we'll use this shade or a mixture. Ooh, maybe I think I want to start with this shade, the lighter shade, and then we'll go into this one. So I had like very low expectations. Each bottle is 1 fluid ounce, which is the same size that a concealer typically is. So it's a lot of product, and I'm not necessarily expecting to go through all of it. I'm just dropping some of that on the back of my hand. I will say this shade, which is the shade that I've used before, definitely has a white base to it. I'm not necessarily complaining, that works for my skin tone okay. And I don't normally, like, hopefully you can see, it's just got a lot of white to it. I don't normally notice that kind of thing. This one just has it, you know? I think this shade, while contrasting to all that bronzer, will be a nice ethereal glow kind of shade. Maybe that's where our grunge but ethereal comes into play on the face, that we've got the deep grungy bronzer, if you will, but we've got this light lifting, more ethereal, milky kind of shade for a blush. I forgot to add just a little bit of bronzer to my nose. Not like a true contour, but just a little bit of color, a little bit of shape. This is pretty much just how I do it every day. I am gonna take that bronzer brush, and I don't have any additional product on it. I'm just kind of tapping over where the blush and bronzer meet just to make sure it's well blended. It looks like I got a lot of bronzer in my hairline. It's just because my hair right there is super light and it takes on that color really easily. You know that I love this palette so much. This is my Adept and Amy Loves collaboration blush palette, and this shade Mishka is a favorite blush shade for me these days. So I want to take some of Mishka and just like tap that over the liquid blush. Okay, that's very nice. I've got like, I don't know, I want to make sure this is blended. That looks better. My blush, I brought it in unintentionally further into my cheek, closer to my nose than I typically do, and it was looking a little bit unblended in there, probably because I didn't want to like keep tapping in that area and adding more product, so I just avoided it, if you will. Okay, I want to add some shimmer, some highlighter, some glowy goodness to the cheeks, and I really want to like shimmer it up. So this is my Inslee Rain Moon Dust in the shade Cosmic Light. Here's that shade on my finger. Hopefully you can see it okay. Here it is on my hand. It's like super sheer base, but incredibly impactful. So pretty. So I'm going to add some of this to the little lid. That was like 5 times at least, more than what I needed. I'm gonna take this tiny Zoeva Petite Fan brush and try to use this. The shade has so many different, or this Moon Dust has so many different sparkle shades in it, like purple and pink and blue. So cool. So I'm just loading that up on this little bitty brush, and then I'm gonna like I said, like take it all over my cheek, especially right here in this little pocket where the corner of the eye is. Okay, that's a lot. Gosh, that shade as highlighter, I'm obsessed. Can I find a way to wear this every day? Nothing? Bam! Fairy. I'm a fairy. I could bathe in this shade. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I need to play with these moon dusts more. I don't normally go for highlighters that are, you know, a different color to like the blush that I'm going for, but this, it's like translating as blue, at least what I'm seeing, but it's so cool. It's so pretty, and it has me inspired to continue playing with colorful highlighters of different varieties. If you also like colorful highlighters, let me know what you would recommend. I'm a glittery mess right now, and I'm happy about it. I'm so happy about it. Okay, I'm going to attempt to put some shadows on my lower lash line. I'm gonna basically use the same shades that I used up top, and then I'm gonna take that center green shade and probably even like bring it down a little bit on my lower lash line just to expand on the glowy and the etherealness, contrasting the grungy. And I will add some mascara, and I will be right back. Okay, here we are. Here is the final look. I was struggling so much to get my eye to stop watering that I just powered through and finished everything else off for the look. And let me walk you through what it is that I did. So I added those same mattes and shimmers from my top lash line to my under eye, my lower lash line. There's a little speckle right here that still doesn't have shadow on it just because my eye is watering. I added mascara. The mascara that I'm using right now is Smashbox Super Fan Mascara. In my waterline, I used these two ColourPop Multi-Chrome Cream Gel Liners. I used Power Trip all over the lower waterline and Wild Idea kind of just in the center of the lower waterline. I did bring down that shimmer shade from the Flourish palette onto like my cheeks. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. It's a very ethereal dispersed sparkle, and I love it so much. I also threw on some lashes. Lucky you, I actually felt like putting on some lashes today. These are the Kiss Look So Natural Lash, the shade, not the shade, but the style Shy. And I think they're very fitting. If you are not new here, you know that I don't love like a super dramatic false lash when I'm wearing a false lash. I feel like these add a nice level of drama without overwhelming everything else on the eyes. So I'm really happy with the way that the eyeshadow turned out. I'm like obsessed with the way that this eyeshadow turned out. I did with the mattes on the lower lash line kind of bring them in to just like continuing the line of my lower lash line, just like continued it toward the bridge of my nose. I didn't like bring it over my nose or anything, but just kept that line straight. And I think that kind of added a fun little element to this look. It's subtle, but it's fun. I did go back in and add just a little bit more of that shimmery white from the Cosmic Dreamer palette. Again, not because I wanted to overwhelm the look with that brightness. I just wanted to add that little peak in there to add just a bit of dimension. And I think that it all came together so well, and I'm so happy. I can't wait to take some pictures of this look. On my lips, I went with the Give Me Glow lip liner. This is the shade Roasted Marshmallow, so it's like a deep, deep cherry brown, I would say. Maybe not even cherry, just brown. But I used Roasted Marshmallow on the outside of my lip line and then just kind of blended it with my finger, and then went over that with my Ensley Rain Plumping Lip Oil Off With Their Heads. This came out with the Underland collection because I wanted it to also kind of have that contrast of grunge with ethereal, and there is some sparkles in this lip. I don't know that you can see it like on my lips too well, but it's a sheer product and it brings glossiness to the picture. I also didn't want it to like compete with all of the other beautiful sparkles on my face. So I am so happy with the way that this look came together. I was so in need of a playing with makeup session and just getting creative and getting my hands dirty, if you will. And I'm so happy with this look. Please let me know how you would do this look if you were to do an ethereal grunge type of look. I would encourage you to do that. If you like to post on YouTube or Instagram, I would love to see the looks that you come up with under this concept. Oh yeah, I was gonna change into, I have a shirt that's like gonna go with this so well. One moment. Doesn't this go together so well? It's like the electric lime with the contrasting deep color. I picked up this shirt like a couple months ago and I love it. And I love that this eye look goes with this shirt so well. And that highlighter. Okay. I am going to wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for joining me for this playing with makeup journey today. I hope that you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you have any thoughts or questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you are new to my channel, I'd love it if you'd consider becoming a subscriber. I have a playlist of just playing with makeup videos and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I love just digging my hands into my makeup, playing, having fun, on a theme or not, and I don't even want to wash this makeup off. I'm so happy with this. I am going to stop obsessing now, and thank you one last time for being here for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.